Okay, welcome to our first unit, the physical development of toddlers. The essential question of this unit is how do toddlers physically grow and develop, and how can parents meet their toddlers' physical needs while coping with their toddler's indomitable will? So our first section is the growth and development of toddlers. After listening to this lesson, you should be able to describe a child's organ maturation in the toddler years, specifically focusing on changes in the brain, explain body growth and development in the toddler years in terms of changes in height and weight, body proportions, bones and teeth, and fat and muscles. You will also be able to distinguish between large muscle development and small muscle development and give examples of major gross and fine motor skills that children develop during the toddler years, and give examples of physical developmental milestones children might achieve in the toddler years. Children between ages 1 and 3 are called toddlers. This name fits them because toddlers toddle during almost all of their waking minutes as they explore the world around them. As they develop physically, their bodies mature, which helps them handle more complex tasks. Although they do not grow as quickly as infants, they go through many important physical changes. Toddlers' organs are maturing. By the end of the second year, the brain is 4/5 of its adult weight and closer to maturity than any other organ. The other body organs continue to mature, but they do so at a slower rate than the brain. This is an example of head to foot, or the cephalocaudal principle of developmental sequence from brain down the spine. Newborns do not have much control over their muscles when they are born. By the end of the first year, infants are just learning to control voluntary muscle movements. These movements continue and improve during toddlerhood. In fact, both gross and fine motor skills of toddlers improve so much that by the end of their second year, they can run, jump, throw, and feed themselves. From birth to 1 year, a child's brain doubles in size. Brain growth is particularly rapid in the areas that allow for the development of vision and other sensory organs, motor skills, memory, perception, and the sounds of language. The brain continues to mature in the toddler years. By 3 years old, the brain reaches 80% of adult volume. Synaptic density also increases during toddlerhood. This means there are more dendrites and they are closer together. Synaptic density permits additional connections and enables much faster learning. By 2 years of age, toddlers have as many synapses as the adult brain. By 3 years, the synapses are 2 times the density of the adult brain. These waves of brain growth, branching dendrites and connections, will not occur again at this rate until the teen years. The density in the toddler's brain aids coordination of sight with body movement, memory, comprehension, cognitive flexibility, and the explosion of language and self-awareness. Myelination is the process by which myelin wraps around longer axons and cushions the cell bodies of neurons, and this helps aid the speed of neuron transmission. Now toddlers can complete complex tasks and store memories through language, which supports their learning. Myelination also aids the toddler's ability to be more aware of him or herself and his or her emotions. Brain growth is directly impacted by genes and the environment. During the toddler years, environmental experiences significantly affect the brain. Although connections allow for firings, experiences determine actual firings. Once the toddler period ends, serious pruning of the connections begins. As the connections are pruned, the windows of opportunity begin to close. Researchers also believe that brain development during the toddler years plays a major role in mental health. In addition to the brain maturing, toddlers' other organs are maturing too. The heart and lungs become more efficient. Between 12 and 24 months of age, the digestive system improves, making toddlers better able to digest fibrous foods. Between 18 and 24 months, toddlers can regulate their body temperature. Blood cells in the skin's surface constrict, which means they become smaller or more closed, to conserve heat when the body is cold. These blood cells can also dilate, which means become larger and more open, to release heat when the body is hot. Toward the end of the toddler years, the excretory system, which is responsible for removing waste products from the body, matures enough for toilet training to begin. Toddlers will grow at different rates due to hereditariness and environment. Because of these factors, toddlers sometimes grow at different rates than norms predict for their ages. In this section, you're going to learn about the changes that occur in toddlers' height and weight, body proportions, bones and teeth, and fat and muscle. Heredity affects a toddler's height and how fast the toddler grows in that height. Because genes determine height, they also influence weight. A person who is very tall usually weighs more than a person who is very short. Other factors can also really affect his or her weight and even height depending on nutrition. Some of the factors include a person's physical activity level, health, and even emotions. Because of heredity and other factors, the height and weight of toddlers can vary. After a child's first birthday, body growth slows down. For example, toddlers grow about half as much in height during the second year as compared with their first year. Children often triple their birth weight during the first year, then gain only 1/4 of that amount during the second year. Some toddlers grow a little faster than these norms in their second year, because they may be catching up to norms after a premature birth or a first-year illness. Girls often reach half their adult height by 20 months of age, while boys achieve half their adult height by 27 months. Many factors can affect growth rates. After 24 months of age, children grow at a slower but steadier rate. They tend to gain 2 to 3 inches and about 6 pounds per year throughout their childhood. This rate of growth continues until about 11 years for girls and 13 years for boys. So, height, weight norms for children from 12 to 36 months. 12 months, typically you're about 30 inches tall and you weigh 21 pounds. 18 months, you're 32 inches tall and you weigh 24 and a half. 24 months, you're typically 34 inches tall and you weigh 27 pounds. 30 months, you're 36 inches tall, which is 3 feet, and you weigh about 30 pounds. And when you're 36 months, so 3 years, you're typically 38 inches in height and weigh 32 pounds. The body proportions of a 2-year-old are not the same as those of an adult. At 24 months of age, the toddler's head is a little more than 1/5 of his or her total height. An adult's head is 1/8 of their total height. A 24-month-old toddler's chest and abdomen measurements are about the same circumference, but by 30 months, the chest is larger than the abdomen. As the child matures, the difference between chest and abdomen size becomes even greater. The child's body build type becomes apparent during the toddler years, too. As toddlers grow, their bones continue to become harder, though the degree of ossification is not the same throughout the body. Due to the cartilage, the toddler's bones are more flexible and less likely to break than adults' bones. The softer bones, however, are more prone to disease or deformation. The toddler's gaps between their skull bones, called the soft spots, or fontanelles, are closed or almost closed. Toddler's spine changes from the infant's C-shaped spine to an S-shaped spine of adults. The S shape, which we call the lumbar curve, allows the posture to become straighter and more upright, making standing and walking easier. Shortly after 2 years, a child has a full set of deciduous teeth or baby teeth. The early care of teeth is critical for lifelong dental health. A pediatric dentist needs to regularly examine a toddler's teeth. Parents must follow the dentist's suggestions for dental hygiene. Fat deposits under the skin decrease rapidly between 9 and 30 months, and a chubby baby becomes a slender child. The baby fat that is noticeable during infancy is decreasing and muscle is increasing as children grow and develop. Children who are still chubby at the end of the toddler years might not be at a healthy weight, and parents may wish to consult with a pediatrician or registered dietitian. Forming healthy habits during the toddler years, such as eating nutritious meals and snacks and getting plenty of physical activity, can help shape children's eating habits throughout their life. Following a nutritious diet, being physically active, and getting adequate rest and sleep can also help build muscles. Muscle development, which is the lengthening and thickening of muscles, is slow during the toddler stage. As children grow and develop, their motor skills also develop. They improve their motor skills more than they had as infants, and they learn many new skills. As they practice these, motor development improves even more. Large muscle development refers to development of the trunk and arm and leg muscles. Movements like walking, jumping, running mainly depend on large muscles. These movements are examples of gross motor skills. During the first year, babies may develop these muscles at least to the point of standing and walking with support. After 1 year, children master walking and begin learning other motor skills. Toddlers love to run and jump and use other large muscles. When children this age are held in one place too long, they often begin squirming as if to say, "I want down." Children learn to walk at different ages. Typically, they begin to walk without support within 2 to 3 months before or after their first birthday. Some children may take longer to make walking attempts. Children learn to walk in their own time and in their own way. Each child is unique. As children try to take their first steps, they need warm adult support, a positive reaction to their walking attempts, and a safe area. Regardless of age, beginning walkers often share some common traits, which include the following. Their feet are wide apart, giving them a wider base of support. Their feet are turned outwards, and their knees are slightly flexed. Their first steps often seem like staggers. They may also step backward or to the side, or take irregular steps and lurch forward and weave. Tiptoe walking may be common because they have not learned to lower their heels. By 2 years of age, tiptoe walking is considered a developmental lag. Arms are often held up or out for balance and do not swing alternately with foot movement. Posture may be slightly tilted forward when walking because the spine is not fully developed. The development of the lumbar curve enables children to walk more upright and steadily. Falls are likely due to poor balance caused by body proportions such as a large head and size. Also, beginning walkers rarely go around small obstacles on the floor like a toy or book. They simply walk over these objects, which increases their chance of falling. Toddlers have to watch their foot placement while walking until almost 3 years of age. As children's walking abilities improve, their walk may look more like a run, but it is not a run. In their stride is half the length of an adult's stride. Can you imagine doubling your steps, taking 170 steps per minute, and having someone hold onto your hand above your head? Yet this is the way that many toddlers walk with adults. True running often begins around 2 years of age. 2-year-olds are not skillful runners because their movements are still rather awkward. For example, toddlers tend to hold their arms up and out as they run and cannot start or stop quickly. With much practice, these skills improve. Children may begin to climb and jump climb as soon as they can crawl or creep. Between 15 and 18 months, they will climb onto furniture. They will walk up and down stairs by holding onto the stair railing in the adult's hand. They may also turn to the side and hold the railing with both hands. For toddlers, going upstairs is easier than coming downstairs. Toddlers do not alternate feet while climbing until after their 2nd birthday. There is not a set time for when climbing begins. Climbing ability relates to the kinds of stairs and other objects near the toddler. Toddlers can more easily climb if stairs are enclosed and not too steep. Climbing also relates to courage. A courageous toddler is much more likely to try climbing sooner than a physically shy one. Stepping off low objects at about 18 months is the way children learn to jump. Before 2 years old, children may step off a low object and remain suspended in air for a brief moment. Around 2 years, children can jump off low objects with both feet. They move their arms backward. However, instead of helping the jump by swinging their arms forward. So then that doesn't work very well. Around 1 year of age, children may begin throwing on purpose, usually from a sitting position, such as from a high chair. After they feel secure standing or walking, they throw from standing positions. Children less than 3 are not very skillful throwers. These children typically use a stiff throw and do not shift their weight. In fact, when throwing with one hand, they often step with the same side foot. They also cannot release the ball at the right time, which sends the ball in almost any direction. Children first learn to catch by squatting and picking up an object. Around 2 years, children will bend at the waist to pick up the thrown object. 2 or 3-year-olds may try to catch by standing in one position with arms extended and their elbows stiff. For the child to catch a ball, it must be exactly on target because the child does not move toward the ball. In fact, many children close their eyes as the ball comes toward them. So, I want you guys to think, what environmental opportunities impact toddlers' large muscle development? Small muscle development refers to development of small muscles, especially those in the hands and fingers. The movements that depend on these muscles are called fine motor skills. Fine motor skills depend on the child's level of eye-hand coordination, which is the ability to coordinate sight with the movement of the hands. Eye-hand coordination matures because of brain development. As small muscles develop and eye-hand coordination improves, toddlers can better handle complex fine motor skills. With time and experience, clumsy and difficult movements become smoother and require less effort, which we call dexterity. By 12 months of age, children begin to develop the pincer grasp, which helps them learn many new fine motor skills. One of the major changes in fine motor skills in the toddler years is the ability to grasp writing tools. Toddlers use both hands to some extent and often switch hands. A definite hand preference for right or left hand usually does not occur until the preschool years. So 18 to 24 months, toddlers can hold a crayon or pencil with the thumb and one side and fingers on the other side. And then 24 to 36 months, they can hold a crayon or pencil with the thumb and fingers in an adult-like grasp. Between 12 and 18 months, they can hold spoons in their fists, feed themselves, and drink from cups. They can also fill in empty containers, insert rather large objects into holes, and build a tower of 2 or 3 soft blocks. Throughout the toddler years, children's fine motor skills continue to improve. With practice and better eye-hand coordination, they become better at feeding themselves. Between 18 and 24 months, children are able to turn doorknobs, hit pegs with a hammer, and string large beads on cords. After 24 months, they can draw or copy vertical lines and build a straighter tower with blocks. So, in review, at what age can children take a step or two without support? It's going to be about 12 months. At what age can they jump up with both their feet? 28 months. And when can they walk backward? About 17 months. All right, thank you guys for listening to the first section. We are done.